Hi, I'm John Yates. I'm 44 years old. This is in my flat in Leamington Spa. I have a bipolar illness, which means that I don't work in a conventional setting or have the earnings of somebody who has ascended the ladder of work as such. So I live on benefits in the community, and I receive care from Mental Health Trust. And I suppose I try and do things which stimulate me other than lying in bed most of the day. Even though sometimes I do. I'm very. I can be very lax in terms of my approach to life, but I have been writing over the years poetry, and recently, in the last year and a half, I'm starting a book on music called A History of Unpopular Music. I've known of strangeness in terms of my experience from a very early age, and depressive behaviours and high mood, and mental disturbance generally. Probably since I was about 7 or 8 years old, and in my late teens, I was getting hallucinatory experiences, and then I went to the university system, got 2 degrees and a diploma, which is quite amazing really, considering the fact that I wasn't well at all really, and I managed to get through that, and then start working in London, and then I went completely doolally and ended up being sectioned, which is a very traumatic experience. With this illness, when it was at its height, before the medication became so crucial in terms of maintaining a sense of stability. I mean, when I was very high, I used to have experiences like imagining there's a wormhole between Warwick, where I was living in around 2000, and New Zealand, and Auckland, and that people were coming up from Auckland via this wormhole. I mean, that may sound totally off the wall and bizarre, but I think it demonstrates that the way the illness works in terms of well, I don't know, just sort of making you feel as though you have no actual control over what's happening to you. I mean, I remember being in London and going to a Catholic church to try and get help, and being chased down the road by what I thought was the devil, and having experience in terms of the church about fighting with the devil. There's one experience I had when I walked into the National Portrait Gallery and I saw Margaret Thatcher on the wall, and I imagined her as a demon, and I was hallucinating her with red eyes, and she was demonic, and it terrified me so much that I ran into St Martin in the Fields across the road and got hold of a prayer book and recited the 23rd Psalm, because I was so scared that she was after me, that she was the devil incarnate, or at least a kind of representation of that, and maybe she is, or was. Sorry, I don't think I've ever actually recovered from those times, and that means that I have to be looked after because I'm a vulnerable citizen. But it doesn't mean I can't do other things with my life and lead quite a rich life in many ways. I mean, my poetry is varies in terms of its structure, but it has been in many ways catharsis. Really, even though I'm trying to move away from that in terms of writing more about things around me. But there's a poem I wrote recently after going through depression called The Dark Room. The black dog is growling at me. His eyes penetrate mine. We lock in a fixed gaze. If I mouth a word, he will silence me. Free will has no meaning, trapped and incarcerated at home. At this moment there's a chill here. He has me and I am his. just for the moment. Then he would go to eternity fields to take me to the place where nothing is.